G'day guys, today doing a bit of a review on the 2018 Africa Twin Adventure Sports. It's not so much a review, it's more of what I think of the bike, the experience I've had with it, and what I reckon of it like as an all-over bike. Yeah. As I was saying, I've had the bike for 9 months now. I bought it new back last year in May when they first released the Adventure Sport in 2018. I sort of upgraded from a WR450 2014, and I had that since new as well, and that was an awesome bike. I wanted something that I could do more Ks on, travel obviously, and yeah, this is what I bought. The differences between the WR and the Africa obviously are, this is a big bike and yeah, just the adjusting, because I've never really ridden an adventure bike like the Africa Twin. I've always been in like dirt bike scene, enduro. I've never had one of this, so I started off with a TS 185 and then went to an XR 250, WR 450. There's a couple other bikes in between there, but yeah. And then eventually bought, yeah, the Africa Twin. Things I like about it, the suspension is really good, nice long travel, and for a bigger bloke as myself, I like it. I haven't had any issues with it bottoming out. I've done a couple jumps and they've come close to bottoming out, but not too bad. Rear suspension and the front suspension are adjustable with clickers. So yeah, your adjustment there. Adjustment on top of the forks there. Couple modifications I've done on the bike. High fender kit obviously. That's a Alt Rider high fender kit. Come from Adventure Moto. It's got radiator guards. They're also B&B. I bought them second hand. As a guy bought them and he couldn't fit them with the type of crash bars he was running, so I got them nice and cheap. The B&B Dakar bash plate was a really good addition to the bike. Provided a lot of protection for the crankcase. I've seen a few videos of the bikes being dropped and the crankcase getting split, and then oil obviously going everywhere. So I was starting to get a bit paranoid about that. And yeah, I just decided, stuff it. I'm gonna go good protection. And went, yeah, this Dakar B&B style bash plate, and I really like it. I reckon it looks wicked. Other modifications, my luggage rack. This come from overseas, I can't remember where, but the company that made it is Adventure, Moto Adventure Tech. And that was really reasonably priced. I think I got that over here for about $300. So that was including postage. Newest addition to this bike for me is this luggage rack. I was putting all my gear from here to about here, and I had no room for my backpack or anything like that. So that was giving me the shits. Bit further back, so yeah, I've got a lot more room for my luggage. Also, I can fit a lot more on there, so I can have my I got two bags. I got a 50 litre Enduristan backpack that it goes at the back. Then I got my sleeping mattress. I got a quite big mattress because I like comfort. And yeah, then I got like another backpack with clothes and stuff that goes on the back. So it works really well for me. Exhaust. I am running a Barrett's exhaust, Barrett's products, if that'll focus, yep. And yeah, it sounds really good. I'll start her up for you. So yeah, that's the exhaust. Other mods, Barrett saddlebags. These I just got off of eBay. They were cheap as $300, I think. As far as saddlebags go, that's pretty cheap. They're a 30 litre, I think, or 28 litre storage bag, and then they have inserts that go inside of them as well. So you can fair chock these up. I go shopping like for the week with this bike every now and then, and I'll fill both side bags up. Other thing I like about them is when you're not using them, you can keep them on there and they don't take up stuff all side space, which is good for when you're riding with other bikes. I also made this, mates call it a fishing rod holder, but it's just a storage container that most people with adventure bikes run. It's just got stuff in there like their tie down straps and other necessities that you need for when you're going away camping on the bike. Another mod, pivot pegs. Now when I first bought this, I thought the stock pegs were quite junk really. They're really thin and didn't provide much stability for when you're standing up on the pegs. Yeah, no, these are really good. Once you get used to them, they're certainly a bit different for me to get used to, but in the end it worked out really well. Really good for when you're standing up because you can put all your weight over the back and have your leg standing upright with no issues. My seat is another thing I customised myself. I don't know if I can get the lines to show up. I put a gel insert in there, so it's cut from I think about here back. So here in this part here is a gel pad. I was getting tailbone rot and I'd never had it before, and yeah, I fixed it with this gel pad. Also there's a layer of foam around the whole seat, so it's very comfy. I got this stuff as well, like your Africa Twin gel protection for the tank bag, which I run, and side protection as well. Bark busters. Bark busters are another thing. These jet bark busters I added as well. I did that because the stock ones that come with it are pretty junk because they're only just plastic. You drop the bike for the first time and you're pretty much guaranteed to break them. This one, as you can see, is taking a few smashes. Protects the side of the bike really well because the handlebars are the first thing that hit the ground instead of your fairings. So yeah, highly recommend a good set of bark busters. Also got this throttle thing, helps me wrist when I'm doing like longer trips. Them clickers there too, they're aftermarket. Normally it's just the red thing and you got to get a spanner to adjust it. But yeah, that makes it easy adjustment for when you're on the go. Quad lock phone mount, another good accessory. You can just whack your phone on there. Not like that. Like that. And you can either have it like that or upwards obviously, but I unclicked it then. But yeah, I recommend one of them too. Never had it come loose. I got the other mount for my GPS up there if I ever use it. Not that I oftenly use it. This wind deflector I made myself out of some plastic cutting board, as you can see underneath of it. I just traced out the shape because I was getting a bit of head shake when I was riding. Yeah, another cheap little item you can actually make yourself. And what would an adventure bike be without the big stand for when you put your stand down in the sand so it doesn't sink? The bigger footprint, because the stock ones are quite small, they're only like that. Tyres, that's another thing. Tyres I'm running on the back are Tractionators, Motors. Now there's a lot of mixed opinions on these tyres. At the moment I really like it. I recommend the old Motors Tractionator because one, very grippy, and two, they seem to be lasting a long time. So these tyres here, they've done 3,500 Ks, and that's not easy riding either. That's pushing the bike, because I wanted to see if the tyres were going to last. The only thing I can say bad about them is they crack like that because they're a hard compound tyre. And when I first got it, they were tearing the knobs off the outside. But as I said, I was riding with no traction on dirt roads, ringing it out, so yeah, I recommend them. Also got HD tubes in there. I think they're 4 or 5 mil thick in the front and rear. The front tyres are TKC 80. It came with the bike, so that's nearly done 8,000 Ks. Good tyre in the dirt. On the road, it's probably a better road tyre than dirt tyre. It's still got a bit of tread on it. But I'm going to go to the Motos Tractionator Adventure for the front tyre for my next tyre, which I'm pretty keen to do because it looks aggressive in my opinion. Also, behind the panel, I've got the Unifilter foam filters with a pre-filter in the front. So when you're off-road and you want to change them, you can just whip them out and change them. Makes it a lot easier. Weight of the bike is 245, I believe, standard kilos. This would probably be a bit heavier than that, so I'd probably say this would be about 250, as it's got a few extra add-ons. Getting used to the weight, it was quite easy for me. Being a bigger dude, I'm 112 kilos, so when I ride this thing, I try and ride it a bit like the WR. This might be a bit hard to see. Fuel mileage is another thing on this bike that is pretty good. I'll have to adjust that. So that's at full tank of fuel, and I've got 428 Ks. The reason why that's so crappy, we'll say, is because I've been riding it pretty hard at the moment, so I'm getting 6.4 per 100, which is kind of junk considering I normally get around 5. The traction control on this too is really good. I've got my personal setup to number 1 traction control, number 1 power, and number 1 engine braking, which is everything. Traction nearly off, engine braking aggressive, and power like as max as well. But yeah, you got your other settings: gravel, urban, and tour. But yeah, I just stick it with user because that's what I prefer. Another issue that people reckon with these bikes is they're not powerful enough. But it's a 1000cc dirt bike, and yeah, I know they only make 94 horsepower or whatever it is, but yeah, I don't think you need much more than that for a bigger bike. It's all to do with how you use that power versus whether you really actually need that much power for off-road. 1000cc is plenty enough for me, especially with 94 horsepower. I know all the KTMs and other bikes make, like the GS and that, they're obviously a higher cc engine and put out more power, up around the 140, 150 horsepower. But I like my little twins power, it's good. I use this bike for adventure riding, mainly on dirt. I go away with it, camping and stuff. I don't ride it every day. I have a work truck that I use doing my job, so I quite like this bike for doing what I do with it. The heated grips are a nice touch in the cold weather. The windscreen keeps a lot of the wind off. A lot of people have trouble with the buffeting of their helmet. I'm lucky enough not to. So this bike, yes, I like it. Yes, I'm going to keep it for a very long time. That's the end of the video. Thanks guys for watching. If you give it a like and subscribe, that'd be wicked. Yeah.